Alright guys, this is how we trimmed hooves on our sheep in 2021. Was a combination of like mutton busting, pro wrestling, and sheep farming all in one long hot morning and afternoon. So I'm getting ready to show you how we did it. This is absolutely base level, but the essential elements are all there. The tools we used, the methods we used, all I'm working towards is just perfecting the handling system, which that is in the works. What we did here for hoof trimming would work fine for 10 sheep, would work fine for 12 sheep. But the quantity that we're working with, it's just exhausting to go so manual on this level. So I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into what we used. If you guys want a complete guide to everything we used, including a really good article on just how to trim a hoof, because that's something that is really a matter of experience, I have created a complete guide to trimming hooves. Link is down below. I would love to email that to you guys. It'll give you the instruments I used, the solution we used to run them through. It was an antibacterial solution, as well as a link to that how to trim a sheep's hoof video that I watched prior to running this hoof trimming. So what did we do this day? This day we trimmed hooves and ran the entire flock through a copper sulfate foot soak. And why do we do this? Why do I do this? Sheep hooves are designed for rocky terrain, for climbing mountains and being on rocks all the time. And if you're running on a pasture like mine, where there are very few rocks and the ground is super soft, your animals are going to need some assistance on an annual basis to keep their hooves in check. Another thing is that we had 9.5 inches of rain in May. When you're dealing with a lot of wet weather, you're going to run into a condition called foot scald. Now, foot scald is something that comes and goes with the weather. As the rain pours, they limp, and then as the pasture dries, they stop limping. However, foot scald and foot rot, which is something you do not want, they are a result of the same bacteria. So basically, foot scald, left unchecked, left unmaintained, will likely develop into foot rot. So running this antibacterial bath plus trimming their hooves is just a good preventative measure to run for your flock. So how did I do this? I called in all of the teenagers who were willing to give me a half of a day, and that was about 4, and we ran the whole thing manually. We manually grabbed each sheep. I wasn't super good at this. I kind of failed at the grabbing the sheep. So I had 2 big strong guys helping me out. They flipped them into a hammock that we had, and basically 2 people would trim so we could flip them out of that hammock as soon as possible. The hammock, I may or may not use it again into the future. I'm hoping to invest in a tilt table that'll kind of eliminate my need for that, but really watch the hammock. It's gonna put a lot of pressure on their lower half and may cause some issues down there. So we'd flip them into the hammock, and then Chicken Lady was running team number 2 down at the end of the chute, getting them walked through a copper sulfate water dish soap soak. So the copper sulfate is the antibacterial element, and then the dish soap is for penetration into the hoof. So when you run a little bit of soap in there, it just kind of gets up into all the cracks and crevices and absorbs into the hoof and runs that disinfecting process as needed. I laid out this tubs, got the copper sulfate and solution running in them, and by the end of the day we had totally crushed all of the tubs. And we had basically totally crushed all of the other tubs we brought in. So yeah, I'm gonna be looking at my local co-op for maybe some rubber pans to run them through. And then also the sheep didn't really wanna walk into the blue water. I don't know why, but there's another hack that I just did not have time to implement, but getting a piece of foam sheeting and putting it in whatever tub that you use so that it appears to be a solid surface, but as they walk across it, they sop up that disinfectant. That would be a really good idea, because it was a bit difficult to convince them to walk through the water. Yeah, so all in all, it went really well. We got the job done. We got the hoofs maintained. Everybody was way more comfortable at the end. Had fresh pedicures and a little bit of blue on their backsides, but that's kind of on trend right now, a little bit of blue hair. But anyways, went great. I ran site prep before my help came, and that's really kind of something standard I do. If I've got a lot of people giving me their time, I run as much site prep and get absolutely everything prepared that I can, and then once they come, we just start rolling. We just do it. I ran site prep from 8:30 to 11, and then the team came in and we worked from 11 to 3 p.m. on all of the hooves. And so by the end of the day, everybody was situated on fresh grass with fresh pedicures. Felt so good to get that out of the way for the year. By the end of the day, nobody wanted to be a farmer anymore. But after a good night's sleep, we're back at it, so. Okay, we gonna get this show finished up on the road. Let's get it going.
Hey, how's it going?
Woo! We've got this thing, which I can back up into the corner. Do you think it'll be better if I put it in the corner? We're gonna flip it into this. I've got one side, you've got the other.
Okay, you're gonna catch them one by one. Bring them in here. We're gonna fold them over. I'm gonna trim while you catch the next one.
So it's good here?
Yeah.
Come on, ready.
Okay, we gotta just keep moving though because I'm getting so tired. I only slept for 3.5 hours last night.
Did you?
It hurts.
Okay,
But I can't stop.
Start, Abe.
First of all, I want to say that this job is probably the hardest job in the world.